Hello, Paul. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Fergi. You okay?
I'm really good, mate. Enjoyed the weekend. Enjoyed the football. Enjoyed the fantasy side to it. Did okay, I think. Not maybe not as well as I thought. Thought I did pretty well in all three formats actually. But looking at my scores and rank and stuff, maybe not as well as I thought. What about you?
Yeah, I thought I'd done the opposite. I thought I had a
Oh, really?
relatively bad weekend, and then when I looked at my scores and where I rank in the table, I was a lot higher than what I expected to be. So I was pretty. I'm now pretty happy with how the weekend's gone.
Yeah, the Salah, like massive swings off Salah, I suppose, in every format, and it
Yep.
goal and assist probably deserved. It's got to say. I thought the first half of that match was thought Ipswich looked really good. Actually, I thought it was gonna be one of those games where Liverpool maybe scraped it, but to get the goal and assist for Salah was nice. I got him in Dream Team, and I got to be honest, it was more of a cover pick than anything, just because I had the money sort of thing.
Yep.
But I didn't have him in TFF or FPL. What about you with Salah?
Yeah, it's the same for me. I had him in Dream Team, didn't captain him.
Yeah,
Got him in another two formats, so I'd have rather he I'd have rather he blanked. I think if you look at the effective ownership across the three games.
yeah, he was heavily captained, wasn't he,
Yeah.
in Dream Team? Looking at my kind of mini leagues and stuff. Again, I was kind of looking because I had a half decent week. Had a even though didn't have many clean sheets, that had plenty of points from defenders. I had Saka, um, and a couple of others. But yeah, kind of lowish down, sort of below halfway. How did your Dream Team week go?
85 points, so I'm really happy with it. I don't have any Spurs coverage for those that are listening back. We're obviously recording as the Spurs games just kicked off just now. And I know that Solanke and Poro's well owned across the game, so I will be expecting a rank drop tonight. But yeah, 85 points. The Salah, Haaland, Isak forward line came off really well, and
Yeah.
even though Eze um, perhaps should have had a haul. Still got the 5 points, so won't take a price drop on him. The main standout for me and the differential against the others is Gvadio got 11 points. He
Oh, you
picked
got
up three
11.
bonus.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
picked up. He got an extra two bonus right at the very
Oh,
end of the game. I
gee. I
think
saw
each
he had nine.
chance.
Didn't realize he had 11.
Yeah, so that was like obviously a really nice return. And what's interesting, I think, on Dream Team, right, is that last season, if you recall, like at the start of the season, probably most of the way through, the lack of clean sheets.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah, that's right.
easy when Europe started. It was easy to get the defenders in
Yeah.
quickly, like free up the budget from other places, bring in defenders because they're a lot cheaper because they're not keeping clean sheets, and hence the prices were dropping. But this time, all the defenders are going to go up. So as people scramble,
You're right.
sacrificed in defence and scrambled there. So I think that the price swings in Dream Team is going to be like really important at the start of the season, and hence why a couple of transfers that I've lined up this week's all based on price rises and trying to build a bit of team value.
Yeah, I took the opposite approach, I suppose. Not expecting clean sheets. I know it's been 1 week, and in all fairness, I think it's probably fair to say City and Liverpool and Arsenal all had pretty good fixtures. I maybe expected Chelsea to score, but they were good defensive fixtures for all of them, weren't they? So, but then again, they're okay this week. Actually, I know Arsenal away to Villa this week, aren't they? But City and Liverpool probably expect clean sheets again. But yeah, I haven't got any of the defenders. I'm happy with who I picked. I picked Robinson, 6 points. He got 9 tackles, I think, something ridiculous like that. And Munoz got an assist as well. Still got Porro to go. So I'm on 76. Sounds like our teams are quite similar. I've got Gordon, Saka, Eze, and Murphy. I was gutted with Murphy. That he obviously went off early, and that impacted Gordon and Isak's output as well, I think, because I think it's probably fair to say if Murphy and Shard had stayed on the pitch, they'd probably scored another one or two. So that was a bit of a pain, but kind of how it goes. Porro to go. Just before we,
With
I'll go on. Sorry.
I was going to say, with Newcastle playing a double next week,
Yeah,
what are you doing with Murphy, or what's your initial thoughts? You going to get rid, or
I'm not going to leave him. I think I'm happy. I'm planning. I think last year I made a couple of transfers, even though at times I didn't want to make any, or maybe only make one. I ended up doing both anyway, just because I thought it was a waste. But looking at this team now set up for next week, I don't think there's anyone else I would really want, to be honest. So I am quite tempted actually just to save this week. Obviously, it's early; there could be injury news and all this jazz. But at the moment, I'm pretty happy to kind of leave my team potentially and save and get 3 the following week. I'm not sure yet. It's easy to say that on a Monday. It's not so easy on a Friday when you've got all these. You have team news and more obvious moves kind of staring you in the face. But I think I'm happy to stay at the moment. You said you're planning some moves.
Yeah, I'm going to bring in the young central midfielder from it. Oh, this is my initial thinking just now. The young central midfielder from Everton.
Yeah,
he's 1.5 million, and I don't think it'll be him that loses his spot if and when James Garner comes back in.
I think you're right.
Everton's got a double this week. He's only 1.5. He got 6 points, so I expect maybe a double rise, maybe a single or double rise off him. And then that allows me. I've got Aina on defence who's injured.
Okay.
He was only 2 million. That gives me another million. So I'm going to get Anthony Robinson in as well. I think we've got a nice double, whether he plays both or not. I guess it doesn't really matter. As you've pointed out, he picks up tackle bonus. He was picking up bonus last year, and Fulham's got 2 Premier League nice home fixtures in the next 2. So yeah, I think those will be the two moves that I make.
I think the only way I'll make a move, as I say, if something becomes just really obvious, or someone gets injured, or there's a rumor of someone not starting, or whatever else. But at the moment, I'm kind of happy with my team, hoping for a haul tonight off Porro. I'm on 76. I'm a few behind you, but as I say, it's early days and quite happy with my start. But there were some hauls. Those who captain Salah got off to a great start, didn't they? So just before we move on, good evening to those watching us live. Appreciate it's quiet this evening because probably lots are watching Spurs match. Paul is still out of his house at the moment, so we're trying to work around his availability. We'll normally start a bit earlier, but Scooby Doo too, FPL Sparta, Chris Harvey, Bobby Shearer, and Richie Patel. Great to have you with us. Let us know how you got on this weekend in the various formats which you are playing. How did your Telegraph team get on?
47 points. I think that's the one game that you're beating my score in. I do have Solanke playing tonight, so I've not included anything appearance points for him yet. So that'll be 49 plus whatever he gets back. Yes, that's the only format that I've got Anthony Gordon in as well. So I didn't mind the fact that he blanked, not like knowing that in Telegraph you don't accrue the bonus on top of the goal or assist or anything like that anyway. So I was quite happy to let that one go. I've got Gabriel and Vadiol in defence, so got returns there. Saka, Munoz, Haaland, Isak, and then everybody else blanked.
Nice, yeah. Team's a bit different. I was playing around on Friday for ages, just trying that. I couldn't, when you can't quite find the team you want, but it's there somewhere. I know I wanted a Palace defender. I know I wanted an Everton defender or keeper. I know I wanted a bit of the Arsenal Arsenal defence, but I just couldn't quite work everything in. It took me ages to work it all around, and in the end, I also went for Declan Rice. I think I spoke about him on one of the pods. I think which pod was it? Was it last week I mentioned it? I did I? Yeah. I fancy him in TFF. He scored 100. I think it was 169 points last year. He had something 89 tackles, 7 goals, 9 assists, something along those lines. He didn't get anything this weekend against Wolves, which is annoying. But he was 4.6 million, and I was really torn between him and Eze. And I went for Rice just because I thought, Eze's obviously got the Man City kind of link or room or wherever else. Plus, he's quite injury prone, whereas Rice just plays every single game. He does get the odd goal and assist, and he took the corners as well, didn't he? In the final preseason game for both Arsenal goals. So I went for Rice, and I went for Bruno Guimaraes ahead of Gordon, which I know we touched a bit on last week. I ended up he had tackles, so he ended up on 5 points, which was nice. Ahead of Gordon. I just thought the 0.8 over the season, 0.8 million. I don't think there'll be much between them in points. So I thought 0.8 million was pretty good. And I ended up with Raya, White, and then Saka, João Gomez.
Oh, nice. double Arsenal.
Yeah,
defence.
it was nice. Well, I've got 4. I got Raya, White, Rice, and Saka, Bruno and Gomez, Munoz, Michaelenko, who obviously got 0, and then Isak, Slanky, and Haaland. But I split my teams. I know you don't do this, but a couple of my other teams have got off really well. I had one team with Havertz in instead of Haaland, and triple Arsenal defence as well, which has got off to an absolute flyer. 61 points for one of my teams, for 2 actually, I think. 63 for one team. So yeah, I mixed up a little bit. I did listen to the advice of Carl and Luke on the TFF pod and about the Haaland value, and I really fancied Havertz anyway. And obviously that's got me off to a really good start. I've also got Bruno in that team as well, who I really wanted because I think he's gonna have a good season. So fancy that team to do well. Richie said had Shah and decided to make a transfer for Munoz, 4 for 0 rather than leave Shah in. Yes, I think red card. Yeah, that's a crap start in it. What is he? -2, -3, and banned for 3 games. Yep. I think that's fair, Richie. Munoz looks a steal, don't you? You probably saved a few quid as well then, but yeah, really tight. Both got Slanky to play this evening on that one. So any transfer thoughts?
No, nothing.
No,
I had thought about putting Bruno Guimaraes in instead of Gordon, but it's just that thing that I didn't need at that point in time. I didn't need the cash already. Yeah. I've still got a little bit spare in the bank as well, so I was happy to let go. But if I needed that, that's probably the downgrade I would have made.
I went for Gordon in the other 2 formats, but I think in this one, obviously, where tackles are thing, and 0.8 saving, I just. You just hark back to years gone by, don't you, when you're just a couple short, you're 0.2 short, 0.3 short, 0.1 short of your ideal team, and just think if you can just save a bit of money anywhere, really, I've probably gone for Ezzy over Rice. But I would have had 1.5 million in the bank, and that just doesn't feel right either. So
same points. We've got the same points at the weekend.
They did.
Not in any worse spot just now.
It was unlucky though, wasn't he? Christ.
Yeah.
Richie was 56 all out in TFF. Also, mate. FPL, okay, again, thought I did better than I actually did. 54 points. I am getting Robinson off the bench, actually, for 56. I've got Porro playing because it was a last-minute thing. I wasn't sure whether to go for Hall, who I thought was at risk of minutes, but obviously now Shah's been sent off. He's probably fine for a few weeks. But I really wanted Robinson, but I also wanted 2 4 million defenders as well. So I went for Porro, Trent. I played Barco for 1 week, really. In all fit. I wouldn't have minded if he'd have played or not next week or onwards because I'd be happy to bench him. I benched Robinson, so I'm getting him, him off the bench with Trent and Porro, Saka, Eze, Gordon, Jota, Muniz, Haaland, Captain Isak. 50. I'm gonna have 56 points once Robinson's off the bench, plus whatever Porro gets this evening, which I'm pretty happy with that start. I've got a really good team for next week. Robinson already in place, so yeah. But it sounds like you've done a bit better.
Only marginally. I'm on 58 plus Solanke.
Okay.
I'd say I feel a little bit hard done by. Maybe that is true, but I have seen people in a lot worse positions than I am in terms of their luck this week. So I've got Kwanzaa, who came off half time and got the lead sheet. And I had Minta as well, who got the assist. Yeah. So it was on 4 points. Was starting at was picking up at the end of the first half and looking really lively. My saving grace, and it's similar to you in that I've got a decent first and second bench players, so they're not coming in this week, obviously, because Kwanzaa and Minta played. But when I look at my team for next week, I had Smith Rowe and Robinson on the bench, nice. So I had a benching headache this week anyway. So the fact that I can just put Minta and Kwanzaa on the bench, not have to worry about transfers, bringing the 2 Fulham guys against Leicester. Pretty happy with that, and also similar to you, I've got a really strong team this week as well. So I'm pretty I'm pretty happy with how things have went. No concerns really. I am still open to doing an early wild card if if and when's needed. I'd probably do it in one of the international breaks if I was doing it. What's it, after game week 3 and after game week 6, I think.
Yeah. I haven't really thought about wildcard yet, to be honest. As I say, 56 plus Porro. Happy whatever happens, really. I'm a bit more concerned about not having Solanke now next week than I was, because I just thought Everton were going to be a tough nut to crack for Spurs in game week 2, just based on last year. But obviously hammered 4-0 weekend. I'm not sure whether Everton were bad or Brighton were just outstanding, or it was just kind of a bit of a one-off match potentially. But a bit more nervous about not having Solanke now than I was. But I do have Muniz home to Leicester, and then Ipswich after that. So it's all right. It all kind of evens out, don't it?
Got Porro and Trent at like nice home ties as well.
Yeah, and Robinson, as you say. So I can't argue. I'd be really happy to go into game week 3 with 2 free transfers. Maybe use 1 transfer to go into game week 3, and then go into the break with 2 free transfers in hand. A lot of people
you don't even need to these days, because you can roll another one if you want.
Well, yeah, I'm probably thinking I'll probably need to do one. Maybe either jump on like a bandwagon, or if Nkunku does well next week, it may be he have to come in, or something like, or Jota loses his place or whatever it is. But I think in the main, I was listening to the FPL winner. He was on Green Arrow last week, Jonas, and he was going through a lot of his mindset when choosing his 11, and he said a couple of things which really hit home with me. He didn't go for Jota. I was like, why aren't you going for Jota? And he was just like, I would never not go for nailed. He said nailed players for me are just king over everything. And he said he would never put in a player that he thinks may even potentially lose his place. And I tend to go for those risky players sometimes.
So you listened to him and went for Jota, yeah?
Well, no, I listened to him more in that I went for Robinson. I planned a bit more towards game week 2, 3, and 4 than I normally do. Normally, I'm quite short-sighted in FPL. I normally just play what's in front of me, but I did kind of plan it out a touch more. So it's nice not to have to do anything maybe. But yeah, Jota, Barker, I'm happy with anyway. He's just gonna sit on the bench. But Jota's the only one. But I also did think Jota can go down to anyone under 7.5 or equal to. So I think that's fine. But yeah, just FPL Sparta, it said 68 all out in FPL. It's a pretty good start. DreamTeam 82 with Johnson left, and TFF 52 Solanke left. That's pretty good score in there. Yeah, and it feels like, because a lot of the popular picks, all the premiums scored, didn't they? All the top teams kept clean sheets as well. That it feels like there's been some quite high scores. Have you looked at the leaderboard at all?
I hadn't until I was on my commute home today. So yeah, I had a look at the scores. I'm sitting 14th out of 51. So we've got 4 more players this year than before, and that's what I meant. Like, I didn't think that I had a good week, and then sitting 14th out of 51 when we've got all these experienced fantasy football managers across the piece. I was pretty happy with the way things have went. I'll do a rundown of the top 10. So in 10th we've got Alad Wilcox, in 9th we've got Noel Brennan, 8th Daniel Astbury, 7th Michael Blackburn, 6th Simon Ingram, that's a familiar name, 5th Keith Ledger, 4th Tom Gledhill, 3rd Gavin Shirley, 2nd Darren Malloy, and 1st Scott Harris. That's good, because there's a lot of names there that maybe don't recognise from near the top when we were doing the rundowns last year, so get a good variety.
Scott Harris is top of the Dream Team League, and he is a Dream Team professor, for anyone that doesn't know. So he's on the Dream Team Tonic pods. We've got off to an absolute flyer in that. Just look at, I think I'm live on I was 34th. I'm now 26th. I'm assuming that's because I've got Porro playing in Dream Team and FPL, so just a couple of appearance points there. But there's nothing in it, I don't think, is there really?
The most interesting one I've got, Noel Brennan in 9th, is first in FPL on Ultimate, 2nd in TFF, and then 48th in Dream Teams.
Oh Christ! Looking at actually, Noel and Simon Davis both used their bench boost in game week 1 in FPL, which is really interesting. I wonder how they did. We'll have to have a look at that. Yeah, well, I suppose if he's top of FPL, Noel, he must have had a good. And Simon Davis is second in FPL overall. So those guys must have smashed their bench boost. Really well played. Yeah, good stuff.
Here's a question for you to finish up, Fergie. You usually ask me a question. What's your favourite? So I've lined one up for you.
Go on, mate.
What's your favourite bar snack?
Oh wow, that's a good question. Do you know? I can't remember the brand, but they're these really hard jalapeno pretzels. But I can't think what they're called. I don't know if they'll do them up your way, but they're really
jalapeno pretzels. Never.
Yeah, they're really nice. And when there's a couple left in the bottom of the bag, you just crush them up and sort of empty the bag so all the dust comes in as well, and they are nice.
We're of similar ages. Do you remember Cheese Moments?
Don't know.
So it's the same brand. It's the same brand that does the scampi fries.
Yeah, I do. Oh, I do. And yes, I do.
And the third one, which the backing cardboard always still references that it's cheese moments, but you never forget. Them anywhere. Basically, like a crisp that had almost a chunk of cheese in the middle. It was like when you say it, it sounds really weird, but they were incredible.
I've seen them. I can't say I've had them. I've had scampi fries plenty of times, and I like the bacon fries as well. They're lovely, but I can't say I'm not sure I've tasted cheese moments. Are they like mini cheddars or not?
Nah, not really. So mini cheddars is a cheese flavored cracker,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
These had cheese
real
in
cheese.
Them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like the shape of the scampi fries.
Yeah.
It was that shape had game changer, by the way. But I thought that you, let's say we're of similar age, and I thought that you would have had some back in the day.
I think no, definitely pay. Well, in my local, they've got the other two, but I've never had cheese moments. I'm gonna have to look out for them.
I'd say mine's maybe pork scratchings, but the ones that like when a pub does their own, which is very hard to find, but some that do, unbelievable.
I used to really like them, but again, my local have got them now, and I'm not that bothered for them. I'll eat anything. I'll eat absolutely anything, but yeah, not massive fan. I do like. I'm a massive crisp fan, and like all that. Love all bar snacks really. Let us know in the chat what your favourite bar snacks are. Tim in the chat says Branthwaite and Tony were bad gambles by me. Yeah, I think Branthwaite was definitely ruled out, wasn't he? I think you've been unlucky with Tony. I don't think anyone saw him not playing. And Richie says, well, he asks in Telegraph, would you generally only make a transfer if you got an injury, or is it viable to make transfers if you see early potential bandwagons? What do you think there, Paul?
Oh, so Telegraph's an interesting one, right? You and I always talk, and the default is sit in your hands, log out the app, come in at Christmas time. That's not to say, and I think the prime example of this is James Ingram last year, and you like, I saw like in his article he referenced his starting team, and his starting team didn't look great at all, and he made 4 or 5 changes over the first couple of weeks. He found the budget enabler that he wanted. Yeah. He found the bandwagon player. And then he sat on his hands a bit and didn't make many transfers. And I think that's certainly the way to do it. And there's not a formula, use 5 transfers in the first 5 weeks, use none for the next 10. Like, I don't feel that strongly about it, but I did pick my 11 players with the view that I wouldn't need to make any transfers. I wasn't playing the fixtures for the first 2 fixtures, had great players. There is new players to the league that you might take a punt on and then realise that they're out of favour. And I wouldn't, like the situation with Shar came up, I would definitely have made a transfer in that situation.
Yeah, I think so.
The prime example might be Kwanzaa now, right? Like he was 3.1 and a lot of people started with him. Would you move him on? I think that Slot seems like a very tactical minded manager and might have played different players in games for different reasons, and I would even likely hold on to him just now.
I'd hold on to him for next week, definitely.
First couple of games.
I just think in Telegraph, especially for someone like Kwanzaa, to whoever you're going to, right, moving him on early is not going to be of as much benefit as a transfer will be late on in the season, or as nearly as impactful. If you lose 3 points, even 8 points, 10 points, I think it's fine, because if you do that it's easy to say, I'll just do it once. But if you've done it once, the next time something like that happens, you'll do it again. Before you know it, you've made 6 or 7 transfers, only made minor gains. So I would definitely leave it. I take your point, and you are right. So I mentioned Declan Rice earlier. If Declan Rice goes on a run of like 4 or 5 2-pointers and someone's banging in goals at 2.8 million, 2.9 million, I'll look for a hop-on point. And if Rice is just not looking the part for it, I'll just make the change, because I'm jumping on the bandwagon. I give Rice a chance, obviously, but then I've got money in the bank. Then I'm on the bandwagon. I'm on the cheapie, and just leave it go. But you've got to give him a chance, because if you're trigger happy after game week 1, Shah's the only exception, I would say. Then the likelihood is you're going to be like it all season. It's easy to say, oh, it's only one, but it's not. It's not. It's the way you play. It's your behaviour and the way you play, isn't it? So,
and I always look in that situation when I'm doing one move in isolation. I always look for a downgrade if possible. Like, if you identify a player that's on red hot form, it's the same price. By all means, go for that player. But I always look for a downgrade so that my next move I'm much more flexible on.
Exactly that.
With the money that's in the bank as well. So I'd certainly give it first 3 weeks anyway. Take you to the international break. You get have a lot more information at that point, and assess the fixtures. You might find I think Aston Villa's fixture run's really good after that, so it might open up your pool of players that you're considering.
I was just going to say as well, I'll just look at the fixture thing on FF stuff, and where Liverpool will land, because they're going to play first, aren't they? Ahead of players. So they play on like Saturday the 14th, for example, at 3:00, and then there's teams that play after them. There you can just have a look. Spurs and Arsenal play after them on the Sunday and things. So just wait for the right time and give them a chance, I think. Chris Harvey in the chat. Someone is in for 3 games. Do it. Yeah, I agree with that. Or if you find a gem is doing brilliantly, and he also says, don't want to take a player out because someone else plays 2 games for your players at this stage. Absolutely not. Completely agree. And Richie says, Everton mid Tim. I'm going to try and pronounce it. I'll get it wrong. Iriogbenham. 9 tackles, but Everton played with 10 men. Oh, Sean W just said Porro goal. Don't do this to me, Sean. Don't do this to me, Sean. Don't get me excited, Sean, for goodness sake. Richie said Petro. Oh, Paul, if it's a Porro goal, I've got him in FPL and in DreamTeam. If it's a Porro goal, my goodness me. You haven't cut my phone yet. I'll be buzzing if it's right. Watch it now, say, oh, he's offside. VAR. Oh my God. It is. Well, it's come up on my phone now, Paul. You haven't got him in any format, have you?
Nah.
If that goal stands, I think I'm gonna jump ahead of you. Sorry, mate. It's not very often you get a defender goal live, is it? Goodness me. Showing up. Hopefully no VAR check. That is wow. Did not expect that, I gotta be honest. Did you see his goal against Bayern in pre-season? I keep talking about it, but he picked the ball up in the number 10 position, mate, and just banged it from 25 yards. I was like, what? I saw the goal, and then I couldn't work out who it was because of the positioning, because it didn't look like Maddison, and it was Porro. I was like, what is he doing there? He shouldn't have been there, like right back. Yeah, looks like it's good. Can we just redo the top 13 or 20?
Is it updated yet? But it's on 2 minutes. It's on a 2-minute cycle, isn't it?
Bobby's got him in TFF and DreamTeam. Nice one, Bobby. Good stuff. Ooh, wow.
Yeah, it's painful.
Oof. Let's have a look if it's updated on the ultimate leaderboard. Glad we stayed on for 5 minutes. Don't think it's updated yet. No, it hasn't updated yet.
Everyone has him as well. It's like, what's his ownership? It must be like a third of the game or something like that.
I don't think it's that high. Let's have a look. Poro is owned by 34 points.
At least my math's good, right?
It is. Wow, unbelievable. Yeah, I don't think much more to add really for this week. Hope everyone enjoyed. I appreciate the Spurs matches on, so we've got smallish audience this evening, but thank you for joining us. If you'd like us to chat about anything in particular, please let us know. More than happy. So obviously the premise of this is to just sort of informally chat. Sean W, just finally before we go, he retracted his message, but I did like it. I read it before he retracted it. He did say that his pub put up roast potatoes on a Sunday, which I really like. I know some pubs that do that. They just stick out the spears on the bar, don't they, in the metal bowls and let everyone dig in, which is really, really nice of him. So yeah, love that, Sean. Anything else, mate, or all good?
I'm gonna have to log out of Twitter for a bit.
Early days, mate. It's early days.
Already seen already seen the stupid gifs coming through and like what news feed.
Okay. I will leave it there, mate. Best of luck for the weekend, and see you next week.
See you next week.
It's all right, mate.